Good morning, boys and girls. Miss Chambers and I are here today, and we are going to walk you through making the fossil imprint mold for your seashell. So some of the materials that you need to make sure that you have are that you have the bag that we sent home with you. And inside that bag, you should have a big blob of clay, some of this white powder, which is plaster Paris. You should have either a tongue depressor. Some of you have a plastic spoon or a plastic knife, and you should have your shell. Then, and a cup.
Yes.
We asked you to make sure that you had some water and that you had some either like Pam cooking spray or a little teensy bit of oil, okay? And then you're also going to want to make sure that you're not doing this on your bed or your couch, right? That you're just doing this in your kitchen or outside, okay? You're going to want to have a paper towel or something or paper plate that you're going to lay your finished product on. So the first thing you're going to do, boys and girls, is you're going to take your bag of clay and you're going to open it up and you're going to get your clay out. You might need to kind of turn your bag inside out, okay? This clay is sticky, okay? If it's really dry and hard, then you can add a few drops of water, like 5 drops of water to it. And you're going to take your clay and you're going to mold it and squish it until it looks kind of like a biscuit, okay? Now it's going to be a gray biscuit, not a biscuit we'd want to eat. But you're going to mold it till it looks a bit like a biscuit, maybe kind of like a hockey puck, okay? And then, so mine looks kind of like a biscuit, but hopefully you can see here on the top it's not smooth. So you want to take the top, and I'm pushing it onto this desk back here. I know y'all can't see that. There we go. And I am going to make it so that it's pretty flat on top, okay? So that's the first step, and I'm going to set it over here on my paper towel. You also want the bottom to be kind of flat so that it will sit up straight when we make our mold in a minute, okay? Next thing you need to do, boys and girls, is you're going to take your shell and you're going to take a tiny bit of cooking spray. Watch, ready? Just a little bit. And you're just going to spritz it on there for just a second. And you're going to cover your shell in oil. Okay, if you don't have spray and you're just using regular oil. If you don't have either one of those, then liquid soap, like you wash dishes with, or sometimes wash your hands with, will work. Okay, so you're going to take your shell, and it's all shiny now and oily. Now, you're going to take your biscuit. You're going to take your shell, and you're going to take, so see how our shells have 2 parts? They have this part that's kind of like a little saucer, and they have this part on the outside that's bumpy, right? For most of you, you're going to have the saucer up, okay? So we're going to take our shell, the saucer up, and I'm going to place it in the middle of our biscuit, our blob of clay, and I'm going to push it down. And this is a little bit hard to do only by pushing inside the shell. I don't want to have handprints out here, right? Just inside the shell. Then I'm going to carefully pull the shell out. Voila! Right? Pretty cool. Okay, now I'm done with my shell, so I'm going to set it to the side, and I'm going to put my blob of clay right here. Now it's time for the plaster Paris. So this is an important part, because if this gets messed up, if we were in school, I could fix it for you. But doing e-learning, I can't. So this is going to take some good scientific listening. So when you mix this up with water, you're going to have twice as much plaster of Paris as you do water, okay? So in your cup that we gave you, you're going to put your plaster Paris down in here. Do not put all of it, okay? Save some of your plaster Paris in case you make a mistake. You can fix it, okay? So I'm going to put some of my plaster Paris down in the cup. Okay, so I have some plaster Paris in my cup, and I have some plaster Paris in my bag. Now here's the trick. With the water, you need 2 times as much plaster Paris as you need water, or you need half as much water as you have plaster Paris. So I'm definitely not going to dump all this in there. I'm going to dump just a little bit right? Now I'm going to take, in my case, my wooden tongue depressor, and I'm going to mix it around. And if there's lumps, I'm going to kind of stir them out. All right? So I'm looking, and if you've made pancakes before, you want your plaster Paris mixture to be about like pancakes. Okay? So now, if it was too runny, if I'm like, oh, this is not thick enough at all, this looks just like regular water, then I could add a little bit more plaster of Paris, the powder, just a little bit, right? If it was still too thick, if it was hard like Play-Doh, then I would add a little bit more water, okay? But mine's pretty close to being just right. So I'm going to use my wooden spoon, and I'm going to scrape it down the sides. And I am going to very carefully, and I might use my little thing here to help guide it in there. I'm going to pour it into the imprint and then stop. And then that's it, right? Then I'm going to set this somewhere safe so that it can dry, because it's going to take at least a day to dry. And then we will talk to you about what to do next afterwards, okay? But right now, once you've made your imprint in your mold, then you just leave it there to dry. It will take about 24 hours. Do not mess with it, okay? It's tempting to go and like play with it, check it, don't do it, okay? If you mess with it, it's not going to work, okay? So just leave it alone, all right? Okay. All right, so that's it, boys and girls. You're going to leave it there, and then Mrs. Chambers and I will give you the follow-up directions in our next lesson. Awesome job, boys and girls. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.